What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the next episode of Mic'd Up with Max Webster. Today we welcome on someone who doesn't have a channel yet, but they're going to be starting one up here real soon. I'm excited to have him on the channel. Good friend of mine. Without further ado, let's welcome him on, my guy Joel. How you doing, man?
Yeah, doing all right. How you doing today, Max?
I'm doing good. Can't complain, you know.
Beautiful. I like hearing that.
So, did you do anything good today? Anything good?
A little bit of housework. That was about it. I'm really tired from the draft. I was lucky enough to be on some content creators channels and 15, 20 hours of YouTube in 3 days. That's a grind. I mean,
Oh yeah,
my hat goes off to them fellas. Chris,
absolutely.
Bad Dog, PTA, all of them.
Absolutely. I mean, you and I were on PTA's channel for the first night, and
Yeah.
after that first night of the draft, like just sitting in a chair, not moving, sitting here in front of a camera for even, I think it was like almost 5 hours we went for that first night. I was about ready to call it. So props to those who do it on the regular, did it all weekend. Shout out to all of them. But we're here to talk about you, Joel. So in my intro, I said you're going to be starting a channel. Let's talk about what that's going to be about and what you're planning on calling it.
Well, I've been calling in and talking to everybody and video makers, and the hardest thing for me was content. I see Chris and Hub and a lot of guys in the dead time of the year. They have a hard time with content, so that was the biggest thing that was holding me back on becoming a YouTuber, so to say. So then the more I got to thinking about it, I'm like, why does it have to be just football? I do so many other things. I'm always active. And it's like, well, you know what? If I videotape it, I'm going to do it anyway.
Right.
So there's a dead season. So I like to go fishing. I like my football and I like to have fun. So like that's where I came up with the name Classified 3F with Joel. It's going to be about football, fishing, or fun. It might be food. It could be family. It could be anything that
So it's gonna be
and that
like
way,
a football style channel with a little bit more of a vlog kind of vibe.
yes, because
Okay.
everybody between draft right now and preseason, everybody's like itching for football. However, there's 4 beautiful months where people are, go outside, have fun, get a breath of fresh air. Um, you know, it's that dead time of the year, and I'm just a diehard football fan as everybody else. But I like to stay active, and I have other activities, and I'm sure other people do.
Right.
And sometimes I see it on YouTube a lot. It's like I'll come across a video and I'll watch it, and I'm like, hey, that looks like fun. You know, but then you run into how do you do it? Where do I go to get stuff like that? How do I get more involved? Is there like a group or anything around here where I could go and do that type of thing?
Yeah.
Now, like the fishing thing, there's a kayak tournaments that happen two, 3 times a month around where I live. So I like to fish. So sometimes I'll go do a kayak tournament.
Nice.
We've all been to a chicken barbecue,
Oh yeah.
but
There's
if
nothing
you've
better
got
than a good barbecue on a warm summer night around the bonfire.
right.
Crack open a few, you know.
And it doesn't have to be expensive either. I mean, if you get 4 or 5 buddies together and everyone chips in $10, you can have a pretty good cookout instead of going to McDonald's.
Oh yeah.
And then you're around your friends, you're around family, and that's where the fun aspect takes over. And not only that, you're putting a smile on your face, but you're putting a smile on other people's faces.
Right.
And that was another thing with the certified 3F is bring the fun back, because there's just way too much going on and people need to recharge their batteries.
Absolutely.
So maybe if I show them, look, this is just a simple cookout. It's my grill. It doesn't have to be world-class food. As long as people eat it and don't get sick, I'm happy.
Right. Well, I will say, Joel, I'm excited for your channel. I'm proud to say I'm your first subscriber.
Thank you.
But I think the best thing you're doing for your channel is not going to be the content that you're necessarily creating, although it will be great, but you're not going to get burned out doing this, right? Because you're going to be doing
Right.
this anyways. It's important that when you're spending time in front of the camera creating content for other people, that you're also enjoying what it is that you're doing. So in
Yes.
that aspect, you'll never get tired of making content. You'll never not want to make a video because you're already out there. What does it take to set up a camera and push a button, or hold it in your hand and talk to it for a little bit as you walk around, or I mean, you're already doing these things. You're not going to
Right.
get burned out, and so I think that's what's most important. But for
Right.
these people who are in here right now, we talked about what it's going to be about. I will have the link down in the description for anybody who wants to go and check out Joel's channel. Why don't you talk about when will they see your first video?
I'm hoping to get the stuff together. I got equipment on the way, and I'm hoping this weekend, maybe Monday, maybe Tuesday, somewhere in there. I mean, I've got this huge learning curve that I have to learn because I've never edited a video before. I mean, yeah, we've all taken video, but usually it's our buddy doing something goofy, and then we get to post that on you.
Right.
And we or TikTok, whatever the social media platform is. And it's like, haha, look at this. You're on, so and so, but you've never to sit down and actually do this and think. I thank a lot of guys because I've placed some calls, texts, whatever, and
Right.
people have helped learn programs and what programs to use. I mean, there's a lot more to this than just really shoot a video because if you think about it, I
I
mean,
mean,
people
I mean,
care
you can go out there
more.
and you can just shoot a video and post it, but it's a matter of quality of content, right?
That's just
And
where I
and
was
if
going.
and if you don't have decent content, you don't have to have the best out there on YouTube, especially starting out as a small channel. But if you don't have decent content that's captivating for an audience, good enough quality that they want to stick around, it's going to get very discouraging even if you are having fun doing it. You know what I mean? So yeah, I completely agree. I don't edit any of my episodes. When I start hitting that record button, it's all raw footage for these listeners until I hit stop recording. However, I will say there was plenty of stuff I had to set up, like I had to talk to someone about creating a logo for me. I had to get the
Yeah,
PNG image. Um, I had to find music to put over my intros. I had
yeah,
to, come up with different ideas that I can do throughout the podcast. I had to kind of, I mean, none of my podcast episodes are quite scripted, but I do have a list of questions that I do repeat, just kind of to keep it somewhat consistent. And the feedback so far has been, people who watch my channel feel like they get what they come here for. Like there's not
yeah.
many questions that they're worried about knowing that I don't ask. Like every time I've asked someone for feedback, it's not like, oh, you don't ask this question, or I was kind of disappointed that when you had this person on the channel, we didn't get to learn much about that, or whatever. So I completely agree where you're coming from when it's more than just a channel. But if you want to talk more about that, I'll let you expand on it as well.
I was just gonna go. Usually, if you've got good audio and you've got good video, sometimes the subject doesn't matter. Now, I know I'm gonna put videos out there that not everyone's gonna like, and
Absolutely.
and I'm gonna put videos out there that are gonna get a lot more views. However, I'm looking at it this way. There's a lot of people out there that have a hard time finding something or getting interested in. And if I show them just one thing, they might say, "Oh, I want to try that because I didn't understand that." So that's another reason why it's like the with the certified 3F is I'm going to show you the stuff that a lot of people don't talk about.
Right.
Like if you go fishing, you'll notice that a lot of guys don't talk about spots. They don't talk about technique because, well, it's true. If you give up your fishing hole, you're going to have 100 people down there catching fish, and then you've got nowhere to go. And
Right.
there are some things that really need to be, more discussed, more brought out in the open. Um, and that's all this is going to do is I'm just going to start everything from the beginning, and then as I go. I'm going to get more in depth into football, into fishing. You know, I mean, even going out and playing a game of cornhole, there's a lot of different things, even to that I searched on YouTube how to throw a cornhole bag. And everyone's like, well, do it this way. And, nine guys can do it that one way, but I'm the 10th guy and I can't do it that way. And I
Right.
believe me, I have hundreds of hours doing that. But it's just more of, go out, get exercise, enjoy the day, put a smile on someone's face. I mean, that's all I ever strive to do.
Yeah,
And that's
absolutely.
basically what my channel's going to be,
Yeah,
is, just go out and I'm putting a smile on someone's face, or I'm putting a smile on my face because I got a big
right.
fish, or because I'm watching the Giants game, or because I'm talking Giants football.
Yeah. Now,
So,
now as far as all that goes, like if I ever get to a point where I'm making money off of YouTube, I would love to be able to set up an actual like podcast studio with like a table, microphones, like 3 or 4 cameras around the room, have someone in the background doing the mixing, and every guest I have on, I don't have to sit here and talk to a camera or talk to my computer screen where I'm looking at you. I can sit here face to face and talk with people, and so that's my goals at some point. I would love if it could get to that point. If it doesn't, I still have a blast doing this. Talking with people is fun. That's why I started this channel. I can talk, and I can talk for a long time. So
yeah. Oh,
especially
me
when
too.
I'm getting to know people that I might not know so well already, right? Like if I sit down with
Right.
my wife, we might have an in-depth conversation, but I'm not going to ask her like, "Oh, tell me about your childhood," because we've been together for 9 years and I probably know 95% of it. You know what I mean? So
Right.
so it's all about like refreshing with getting to know like new people, and that's what it's about for me. But I hope that people have been as helpful to you as they were to me. You were talking about good camera quality, and that's something that like I had to buy stuff to set up myself. I had my camera long before I started my YouTube channel. I'm a photographer on the side. But as far as the audio quality is concerned, 100% of that thanks goes out to Authentic. That man spent probably at least 4 or 5 hours on a StreamYard call with me, working on EQ and compression and setting everything up and how far away from the mic and everything. He spent probably 4 or 5 hours just helping me out, and I have no idea what I'm doing when it comes to that stuff, so I have to be extremely grateful that other YouTubers who, at that point, I didn't even have a channel yet, were willing to come and take time out of their days to help me out.
Yes.
And so I hope that people have been as helpful to you as they were to me, and that's probably my greatest like thanks to the YouTube community so far. But another thing you said was like you're gonna have some videos that take off and some that don't. And I'm not saying I've had any videos blow up, right? But it's kind of funny to me, right? I'm a Giants fan. 95% of the people that have been on my channel are Giants content creators. But the one video that's got about 5 times the amount of views is the Eagles content creator in Philly
Yep.
500. So yeah,
Yep.
it just goes to show you never know which video is going to be more successful than the other until it is, right?
Right.
You could make a video and be like, oh man, I spent 30 hours editing that. It's like my best video I've ever made, and it could have like 100 views. Or you could be like, oh, I'm just gonna take out my phone, walk around the lake, and record myself, and now you're viral, right? It
Right.
truly is like hit or miss, but it's not about the amount of views for me. I would rather have a small, tight-knit community of consistent people who enjoy my content than have 50,000 followers and never have the same viewer in any of my podcasts and not know any of my subscribers as well.
Yeah, that's a big thing for me. Now, the reason I'm going into this channel is not to get rich.
Right.
If I can give one person a little bit of information, if I can make one person smile, if I can get one person out of a bad mood, I mean, that's my goal, is just one. Because, a lot of people don't know this, but the military also has classified 3F, 4F. It's for your draft process. And my heart goes out to the military, and I thank you for your service, knowing that
I
you're
appreciate that,
military.
man. I appreciate it.
And that's a big deal right now, and it's nice to see that has such a huge backing to it. And but it's not just. I don't want this to sound wrong, but it's not just the military. There's a lot of people out there that need help.
Oh yeah,
There's a lot of
absolutely.
people that just need that one day to smile, that
Yeah,
one reason. I mean, that one smile, that one reason could be a big difference in that person's day and that person's future going forward.
absolutely.
So now, while I would love to make a ton of money at this and I'd like to have 50 million views, I mean,
Right.
who wouldn't love to have that,
Oh
live in
yeah.
a mansion and it's like, hi guys, I'm back again.
Right.
I want to thank y'all for giving me all this money and letting me live the style of life I'm living. But I'm just as content and happy living right now. I got my health. My wife has her health. I got 3 beautiful kids. They all have their health. I'm going to be a grandfather here soon in three
Oh,
months.
congrats, man. Congrats.
Oh, thank you. So we're having all these get-togethers and everything, and I'm like, you know what? Why not show people how I throw a shindig?
Right.
Or in the wintertime, it's like, how you get the blahs? I bake. How many guys that go and bake?
Hey,
I look
right.
like I should be in the mountains. Well, if I'm in the mountains, I'm a mountain man. I got to prepare my own dinner. I'm going to make dessert. Darn it.
Right. All right, Joel. Well, we've introduced your channel. We're here to talk about you, right? People have seen you come on the Hubs channel. People have seen you come in other content creators and talk about the New York Giants. If you're going to be starting a channel, before you start it, let's give someone, or all your people that are going to see you in the future, somewhere to come to learn more about Joel and somewhere to find the beginning of this YouTube process, right?
Oh, wow.
So why don't what's that?
This could be a deep hole.
I was just gonna say, why don't you tell us some simple things, right? Like, where'd you grow up? Where are you from? Things like that.
I mean, I grew up in small town America, south of Rochester, New York, in between Buffalo and Syracuse. The first 12 years of my life, I lived in town. Uh, then my parents bought 14 acres, built a house on it. So I went from living in town to living out in the country, but I was only a mile outside of town, and I had woods, and we had an apple orchard. There was a swamp. So, I hunted, I
Oh,
fished,
nice.
I trapped. Um, I had a 3-wheeler. I had a snowmobile. Me and my father would go ice fishing all the time as a kid. And then growing up in small town America, you have to be on a baseball team. So I played
Right.
baseball for a while, and I played football for 9 years.
Oh, nice.
But I never went to college, but that was Pee Wee in high school,
Right.
or 8 years, something like that. I don't know. I'm old. I forget. I just lived a simple life. And we went on vacations. I mean, we went to Disney World when I was like 9 or 10, but there was nothing, really special about it. I mean,
Yeah.
our school, we'd have the Spirit Week, and the football team, they go on their floats down through Main Street. And, we have Memorial Day. And when I was really young, I can remember we'd have dance parties in the streets. They'd block up this one section of the street by the house when I lived in town, and then they'd start playing music, and the people would get together and dance. And that's what we did. That's what we
Right.
knew.
So you were born and raised always from upstate New York.
Yep.
Well, outside of this, me and you have talked for quite some time now, I guess. Before I started my YouTube channel, we'd hop in Discord calls or whatever. We just talk Giants, right? We debate.
Yep.
I come on Hubstream, and both of us purposely say trigger words to get the other person going. We just have fun.
That.
We just have fun debating and arguing. But that's not what this episode's going to be about. Where I was going with this was, you've told me your career and what you did before living the retired life and now starting a YouTube channel. So why don't you tell these people what you did and maybe some of the low and high experiences that you had doing that career?
Well, if you want to look at my job history, I mean, I graduated high school. That was the one wish my father had, that he didn't care about anything. He says, just graduate high school. I don't care if you go
Right.
to college. So then I went to trade school and I learned how to become a welder. And I was doing that. Life was good. I had a really good job. I was making overhead cranes that would go into factories. They run on rails, tracks, or sometimes it might be a steel pipe that just goes up and then it turns 360 degrees. That was my job.
Right.
And that's when I hit the low point in my life, because April 14th, and I remember the day, 1990, guy hit me head on. So I had that accident, broke both my legs, ruptured my spleen. I pushed my face in from here up 2 inches. So all this is rebuilt. And interesting part, I had 23 paramedics working on me at the scene. I was in the pantsuit and all that. And one of them had a heart attack right
Oh
there on the
wow.
spot. So
Jeez.
my accident, I lived through that. And thank God he was there with all that medical equipment and training, so he was okay. And then
Right.
the lady that was behind me in the car, she was a registered nurse, so she knew what to do. She got out of her car, took care of me, and did what I had to do. And I'm sitting there. I was 2 weeks in ICU, another week in the hospital, and then I came home and I was in a wheelchair for a year and a half. So here I am, not even 21 years old. I had a great job. I'm looking
Right.
at apartments. I had my own vehicle. I'm living what every kid wanted to live. And
Right.
it's like, okay, now, okay, it's not going to go that way. It's going to go a different route.
Yeah.
So 2 months later, after April, I think it was May or June, my mother had a heart attack. She needed an artificial heart valve. And then a month after that, my father was diagnosed with cancer. And then December 22nd, 1990, he passed away. And,
So all
and now,
all, all of this is still the same year.
yes, this is all within the same year. Plus, I had 8 relatives pass away too. So we were going to a funeral or going to a hospital. And in the meanwhile, I'm
Jeez.
in a wheelchair. I can't go anywhere. Thank God I had some really good friends, because they'd come and grab me, throw the wheelchair in the car, and we'd go somewhere, even if it was the mall. And but the physical therapy, it took me about 3 years to get back. Maybe 80%. I'll never be 100 again because of all the
Right.
injuries and everything.
Yeah, man, I can't imagine that process, like my mom's had breast cancer twice, cervical cancer once, so I get the cancer
That's
thing. But my neighbor, when I was stationed in Arkansas, she had been in a really bad accident. About, I want to say probably 50% of her body was metal. She had a TBI, all that stuff.
Yes.
And I mean, when you go through something like that, especially when you know, like things are happening afterwards, right? Like you can't even focus on just you at that point because so much is happening around you. It really makes you appreciate every day.
Yes.
It's gonna send you one of two ways. You're either gonna get in a real low and get depressed, or you're gonna learn to appreciate every day and appreciate those people who are around you, and there to help you. You know what I mean? So
Hmm. It is. Especially, I'm the only child. I was all by myself. I really didn't have anybody.
right.
I mean, what's a kid gonna do?
Yeah.
I did what I had to do. So, like I said, it took me about 2 years, year and a half, 2 years to get out of the wheelchair. And
Right.
I'm going to physical therapy and all this. And I, got a question. And I says, Doc, how long is it going to be before I'm walking once I get out of this wheelchair? And they told me like 3 to 6 months. And I was like, what? I was like, there ain't no way I'm going to be staying in this wheelchair for another 3 to 6 months when I can finally stand up and put weight, because I got a rod in each leg. And
Yeah.
what they had to do was wait for the bone so that the bone would support the leg, not just the rod. The rod's just in there to keep it together.
Right.
And I said, there's no way to do that. So I had therapy on a Wednesday, Monday and Wednesday. Tuesday, I went to the doctor. So Monday I showed up in the wheelchair. Tuesday I went to the doctor. He said, "Here's your crutches." Wednesday I drove there and walked in. True story.
That's nuts,
I've
man.
been in sitting down and they just looked at me and they said, "What are you doing?" I says, "I'm done."
Yeah.
I says, "I'm moving around again.
Well,
I'm
at that
not."
point, you had spent how much total in the wheelchair? Like total
Year
time?
and a half, year and
Yeah.
a
I
half without
mean,
standing.
that's nuts. I mean, it's not just about. I mean, it's obviously about letting the leg heal, right? But
Yes.
what a lot of people probably don't realize is during that year and a half of not standing or anything, you lose a lot of muscle in your legs.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You have to relearn how to walk.
Yes.
Like it's not
I did.
just it's not just as simple as, oh, the bone's healed, let me just get up out of this chair and go, you know.
Right. No, it
But
wasn't, because my right foot doesn't move too well, so I had to learn how to balance on that. I mean, now I'm not running sprints by any means, but I'd put the crutches, and then I'd take two slow steps,
yeah,
and then I'd put the crutches out in front, and I'd take two. And now it took a lot, but the only thing that I can thank is playing sports and having that athletic mindset to, I want to play, I want to start, I need to work for it.
yeah,
Well, I wanted to stand, I wanted to walk, I needed to work for it.
yeah,
And by having that athletic mentality, it got me through all the rehab, because now while I couldn't work out with my legs, I was still working out with weights and everything for my upper body. Plus, pushing a wheelchair around gives you a lot of muscle.
oh yeah, I'm sure.
So, especially some of the places I went, I mean, I probably shouldn't have done it, but I did it anyway. I'm like, I said, I'm going to have fun.
What
So,
about your next career after the rehab process there? Where'd you decide to go after that?
well, actually, what happened was, as I got married in 1993, two, 93. I have to look at the wife on that one. It's been so long. Usually I tell her, but I kind of under the gun here. You got me in the spotlight. So 93, yeah, our daughter was born in 92. So I got married in 93, and now
Okay.
in the meantime, I'm going for retraining. New York State's supposed to retrain me because I cannot be a welder anymore, because I can't stand up for long periods of time. I can't kneel, I can't bend. So I said, okay, I want to be a gunsmith. Nope, that ain't gonna work. I said, okay, I want to be a mechanic. Nope, that ain't gonna work. Well, I didn't have the grades to go to college, so that opportunity was gone. So New York State decided they were going to make me a truck driver. So I went to truck driving class and I became a truck driver for 9 weeks. And of course, you know, just starting out with a family and everything. And I called home from Indiana one day and I says, "Hey, hon, how you doing?" She goes, "Great, I'm pregnant." So I went and drove the truck to Pennsylvania, dropped it off in the lot yard, had her come down and get me, and I went home. I says, I'm going to be a dad. I'm not going to be an over the road dad. I says, no,
Yeah.
this ain't going to work. I says, I still got my training. I'm still pretty young. I said, I'll figure this out with my legs later in life. So I did that, did some factory jobs close to home. I had a truck driving job close to home. I didn't like it. I mean, when you're driving close to home, you're more tired than you are over the road. You're putting in 14, 16-hour work days, and then you still got to drive another hour each way to go home. And I'm like,
Yeah.
no, this ain't gonna work. So I went back into my welding. I was a pipe fitter for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years, and I drove heavy equipment around, and I operated excavators and backhoes and did all sorts of stuff. And then, it's like, okay, my legs are shot and I can't really do this anymore. So I went back into truck driving. So I drove for a local place. I was home every weekend, but that was starting to take a toll on me. And I'm like, I want to go over the road for a while. So I
Right.
went over the road for a while. And I've been to all 48 states. I've been down just in about every big city there is. I've been over the Rockies. I've been down to Florida, been up to Maine, all over the place. And then, you know, being a truck driver, you don't eat very healthy. So
Right.
I lost my medical card. You have to pass a physical to be a truck driver. Well, I couldn't pass the physical no more, and here I sit disabled. I mean, that's all I have left to do. But I still try to go out, and hence being disabled, but always being a worker. I got to do something, or else I'm going to go crazy. So I'm like, okay, YouTube, here I come. Let's see how this works out. So
Right.
everybody starting out with me, it's going to be a hell of a ride. I promise you that.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm looking forward to it, man. Why don't you, with all that time on the road, why don't you give us your favorite single memory from when you were driving truck?
Can
Whether
I?
it be a location you went to or something you did, just something that like every time you think about that time in your life when you were a truck driver, this one
Well,
memory sticks out to you.
I gotta say, a lot of it is being down south and the good food that they have down there. I like Southern cooking because of the spices and everything. But as for interesting, I mean, I've been down along I-10 that runs through the Florida Panhandle. I saw the USS Alabama. I did never thought that a ship could be that big until I was in Delaware, and in the channel, you drive under the channel. You go down about 200 feet under the channel and come back up. And as I went under that in the semi, there was an aircraft carrier going over the top of me. I'm thinking, boy, I hope this tunnel holds up because I don't want that coming down on me. I mean, I've been to Air Force bases. I've been to Red River. I've been to military bases. Thousand Stumps. I hauled military equipment. I hauled Connex boxes full of small weapons. I've hauled Hummers. I mean, there's good and there's bad as a truck driver. It's not a job; it's a life
Right.
because you're living in that truck. I mean, yeah, you get to see things, but usually it's in the rear view mirror because you can't pull in anywhere
Right.
and stop. Because I mean, I went over Sutter's Pass the first time, and I'm like, where can I park this thing? Because I've read about this, and now I'm seeing it. I want to stop for an hour. Um, there was one time I was going through Sturgis a week before Sturgis. I called my boss up. I says, boy, it's a good thing this ain't going on right now. I says, I would have been a week late with this load.
Oh
He
yeah.
says, well, what do you mean? He says, man, I said, I just went through Sturgis. He says, grab a load coming back through and stay a day or two if you want. I, I'm like, nah, wife killed me. I can't do it. So, it's like in Texas, or Arizona. Um, I was gonna grab a taxi and go see Boot Hill, but I got the opportunity for a load that paid really good money, so I didn't get a chance to go do that. So while there are opportunities out there, and I tried to take advantage of most of them, I mean, there's a lot of fun times. I mean, I got stories as a truck driver. I had a girl that drove by me, and it was a hot summer day, and all she had on was pink socks. That was it. I mean, I don't know how far you want me to
what
go
what
into
state
some of
was
these
that? What
stories.
state was this in?
Oh, it was down south somewhere. It might have been North Carolina, for all I know. You know,
How many years
I've been
ago?
flashed. I've been flashed so many times as a truck driver. Man,
How's
I've
the
seen
wife
more
feel about
Hooters
that
than
one?
going into Hooters. You know, do
How's
what?
the wife feel about that one?
She don't care. You
As long
know,
as you're coming home to her at the end of the trip, right?
exactly right.
Now, how old was your kid when you decided to go back into truck driving after taking some time off?
My son was born, and he was probably 10 or 11 years old,
Okay.
and he was born in 2000.
Okay.
So I have two daughters, and then I have a son, and he's my youngest, and he'll be 21 July 12th of this year.
Okay. Well, Joel. After all, part of your YouTube channel is going to be about football, yeah?
Yes,
Well,
definitely football.
what do we say we talk about the draft for a little bit?
We can do that. You're the man running this show. I'm just here to answer questions.
Let me ask you your favorite move in the entire draft. Whether it
Trading
be
down.
it was from trading from
Trading
11
down.
to 20. That's
Yep.
your favorite move?
And
All right,
then doing it twice.
now give me a
Doing it twice.
favorite player. Doesn't have to be Kadarius Toney just because of his playmaking. It could be another player based on value, someone that you just are looking forward to seeing on the field either this year or hopefully next based on development.
You know, after the draft being done and everything, and then taking time to evaluate the players, that third round draft pick in the cornerback position, I'm kind of interested to see about him, because we all complain about cornerback play outside of Bradbury. And the Giants went and drafted a cornerback, and everybody blew a gasket. Why did we do that? We don't need one. We've got this guy. We haven't even seen him play yet, but we got him.
Yeah.
I was like, that. I'm really interested to see how this kid does.
Now, Joel, I will tell you, I think for the same reason a lot of Giants fans freaked out is probably for the same reason as myself. I didn't freak out. I definitely questioned it. I felt like almost every Giants fan at that point in the draft, third round, we get rid of the 5th round pick we just got from the Bears. We move up. We're like, it's hog time, baby. We've been talking about this for so long now. And as someone who is so hog friendly as yourself, one, were you disappointed in that moment when it first happened before you got to see any film on the Aaron Robinson? Were you set on taking an offensive lineman at least somewhere in this draft? And at what point did you decide, this guy, if so, at what point did you decide I was kind of questioning and upset at this pick to he's the player I'm most looking forward to seeing?
You know me, I was screaming offensive line all year, ever since the end of last year. Are we playing a game tomorrow? When the season starts 5 months.
Yeah.
We've got 5 months. Listen, Houston needs draft picks. Why can't we make a phone call to Houston and say, I got a 4th round pick for next year? Hey, what do you think about that guard you got? Gettleman, hey,
well, the thing with that is we probably got to take on the salary after that, yeah?
You're absolutely right. But now if we restructure his deal and get him under, listen, Abrams did something that none of us expected.
Right, but Abrams also came out and said next year could be a little tighter than
you're
they'd
absolutely
like.
Right. But that could just be Abrams looking at the media like Gettleman looked at the media and said, hello there, young people. It's kind of trolling.
Yeah.
Okay? Listen.
I don't know. Abrams' personality doesn't strike me as the troll type. He's the type of person when I see him in any interview, he's just like, yep. No.
If this draft didn't teach you, us Giants fans, to expect the unexpected, nothing did. Because everybody thought Kwity Paye at 11. Everybody thought Smith at 11. Everybody thought, well, if we do trade down, it's going to be Tucker or whoever. Okay.
Yeah.
Nobody expected Toney. Nobody called that one. Maybe in the 2nd round. He wasn't making it to the 2nd round.
Oh, yeah, no. Jacksonville came out and said that they were heartbroken.
Yeah.
Urban Meyer used the word heartbroken.
So for all you people that say a player is overvalued, is that the right word I'm looking for? Look where we got Azeez Ojulari, and he was supposed to be a 1st round pick.
Yeah, so I do feel like that one, and I'm not saying we didn't get a steal because I love the Azeez Ojulari pick at number 50, especially after being able to trade down again. But I will say I'm going to temper expectations for this year. And the reason I say that is because I feel like the reason a lot of teams passed on him was because of his knees, right? And granted, that was a long time ago. I'm sure the New York Giants went in and did their due diligence to check this guy out medically, just like they did with Galladay. I don't feel like we take a player without knowing a player, which is the reason we primarily drafted players who were able to go to or chose to go have a pro day this year.
Right.
So I feel like I'm going to temper expectations, and especially for our entire outside linebacker group, right? I mean, nobody's proven there yet. Lorenzo Carter was having a great year, but he tore his Achilles. That's a tough injury to come back from. O'Shane Zimenez, a lot of Giants fans are down on him because he's not been what he's supposed to be. Carter Coughlin showed some hope, but he's not like a top-tier outside linebacker. Brown there, right?
You know, all I can say is look at the guy we got rid of last year, and Giants fans thought he was a starter.
What
that linebacker?
I can't. Oh, you're talking Connolly? Yeah. That was in my opinion because he lost a step coming back from the ACL. That's just my opinion.
Problem. That could be Carter's problem too.
What do you mean?
Well, that Achilles, that's a tough injury. I mean,
yeah.
LT tried coming back from that, and he wasn't the same.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people say Achilles is harder to come back from than an ACL.
I said it before free agency, and I still believe it. We're going to go 12-5 and sweep the division. I how I feel that way.
That take, Joel.
You know, Daniel Jones is a top 10. I'm going to say it again. Oh, he turns the ball over too much.
Well, Daniel Jones might not be here much longer. We might be trading him and half of our players and half of our picks to get Aaron Rodgers.
I'm going to beat you. I don't want. Look, Aaron Rodgers is a great quarterback, okay? You can say what you want, but we all expect results.
Yeah.
Now, if your results are just getting to the NFC Championship game and getting blown out like he's done the last 2 out of the 3 years, you're telling me a team that wins 13 games in the regular season should not be playing and getting blown out in the NFC Championships. That's not, no, that something else is going on there. I mean, we all know the farther you go into the playoffs, the better the team is that you're going up against. I mean, we saw Green Bay beat a lot of people, and now all of a sudden, you know, that tells me, I mean, if you want somebody that's good in the regular season and we can't get over the hump, then take him, I guess. I mean, but you all, every Giants fan throws out numbers and statistics and wins and losses. Aaron Rodgers should have 4 rings. Oh, but he played with in the Brady area, and he played with Breeze era. Well, Breeze only has 1. Brady's the only one with multiple. I mean, Russell Wilson only has 1. I mean, all these great quarterbacks that everyone says, well, we need him. I mean, Deshaun Watson has 0. And then
Deshaun Watson's a different case. He's never really had a good team around him.
Listen, they were up 21-0 on the Chiefs. You know.
But that's not Deshaun Watson's fault.
No.
That loss was not Deshaun Watson's fault. That's on the defense.
Well, you know what?
But you allow a team to come back from a 21-point deficit, that's on your defense.
Hey, you know what? Move the ball. That's what everyone says about Daniel Jones. Don't turn the ball over. Move the ball. Keep the drives alive. You know, burn time off the clock. Do what you have to do.
I will say, though, Joel, to that argument, if the New York Giants offense last year averaged 23 points a game, right? We'd probably not be harping so much on it. And so for Deshaun Watson to put up 21 points in the first half, you can't say that loss is on Deshaun Watson and he needs to move the ball.
Well, you know, it's like I get criticized all the time. I said Daniel Jones has better numbers than Deshaun Watson did because he's got more wins. That's the number that counts.
They have the same amount of wins, to be fair. They both had 4 wins. Daniel Jones missed 2 of the wins last year.
Well, you know what? Now it's come out that hamstring injury was a lot more serious than what actual people took it for. So you're telling me that kid doesn't have heart? Now all of a sudden we're finding out about this stuff. We found out our first-round draft pick had a bad ankle, but yet everybody wanted to get rid of him. Oh, we should have taken the defensive guy. We shouldn't have taken a tackle. Oh, he stinks. He's no good. Get him off the field. You know, this commentator said, well, his step is off this and that. So I'm going to say the same thing and sound like I know what I'm saying. Yeah, yeah. Come up with your own.
Yeah.
I can't help it, but that's the stuff that drives me nuts, and that's when I start going on a rant. And it's like, guys, I'm not, am I no way, shape, or form saying that Deshaun Watson and Aaron Rodgers are definitely talented. There's, they have a lot of talent. But what I'm saying is that you all are saying that it's about the championships. It's about wins. Well, Deshaun Deshaun Watson had a lot of garbage time plays. They were down an awful lot. The defense played prevent. And anytime that happens, Deshaun Watson's going to tear people up. Just like Dak Prescott. He's got the same number. When he gets down by 17 points, the defense plays prevent, and he could throw a good ball. You know, he can do what he has to do. They're not blitzing him all the time. They're going to give him 10 to 12 yard completions. And Cooper's good enough to break it off for another 30 yards. That numbers are numbers are numbers. If you want to use them, great. You don't want to use them, great. But it's one or the other. You know, why can't we use both?
Right.
Let's look at the whole picture, not just a third of the pie or a half of the pie. Let's put it all on the plate. Let's put it all on the table.
All right, man.
You know?
Yeah, I completely hear you. I'm looking forward to this season. I have higher expectations than ever. Daniel Jones, I have faith in him, but even the biggest Daniel Jones fan can't say that he's not a question mark. He hasn't been consistent, and he hasn't proved that he is the guy. He's shown flashes and that he could be, but that's what this year's all about for me, and that's why I was hoping to end up with a hog, because I feel like if you leave any excuse left on the table, and offensive line is a very valid excuse for a quarterback to not be good. Look at Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl, right? Then to me it's a failed year no matter how many wins we get. If you leave this year and you can't say without a doubt either Daniel Jones is or isn't the guy, this year is a failed year in my opinion.
Listen, Daniel Jones last year played with the same amount of talent as he did at Duke. I'm seeing the same thing. Daniel Jones. Listen, Daniel Jones was sacked 45
right.
times.
That might be true. I'm not saying it's not, but even like all my point is even the biggest Daniel Jones fan and supporter can't say right now that he is going to be the quarterback going forward.
I will, and I'll tell you why,
without a doubt.
I will. I'll tell you what right now why. When the offensive line picks up their blocks, he has a 90 passer rating. When the offensive line misses a block, he has a 40 passer rating. Daniel Jones has the talent.
Yeah, he has the talent, but can he make those clutch plays? You look at games like Tampa last year where we were ahead and he threw those two crucial picks that cost us the game. That had nothing to do with the offensive line. Things like that, right? He's getting
tore up by the media. He's getting tore up by the fan base.
Well, that's his mental, and he needs to work on that. If the media is affecting his head bad enough to affect him on the field, then he needs to work on his mental state.
Now, I'm going to finish what I was going to say. Just so that people know, these are the arguments that me and him have in Discord. just so you know. Daniel Jones, he has all this going against him. You can tell that he wants to shut up critics. You can tell. Last year he stepped up his game. He put on some weight. He was, his second half of the season was a lot better. He's very smart. He understands this. He had a little bit more freedom. He could audible at the line. You saw that happening, but you didn't see it in the first half. He's getting this figured out. He's doing what he has to do to be an NFL quarterback. And he's doing what he has to do for the Giants because his teammates believe him, and he's not going to let them down. I mean, he's already got them together for one workout, and pretty soon we're going to hear he's going to get everybody together, these new draft picks, for another workout. Because even though they're not doing voluntary OTAs and all of that, they're still going to be doing stuff together. Well, watch. I'm sorry. but a bad quarterback does not do that. We heard stories of Eli Manning do that, and we praised him. Well, Daniel Jones is doing the same thing. He's trying to do his damnedest to do whatever he has to do to win football games. You think? Do you really think that Daniel's going to be able to just half step through the season this year with Barkley back there chewing on him? You think Daniel's going to half step it with Judge back there watching him? No.
I'm not saying he doesn't go out there and give his all, but I'm saying he hasn't proved, right? Like, even Eli Manning took a couple years. Heck, after the second year, fans were still ready to get Eli out of here. I'm not saying I don't think he's the guy. All I'm saying is he hasn't proved it yet, and that's what this year is for me as a fan. Hey, and if that doesn't happen, then that, in my opinion, is a failed year, even if we do win the division and go to the playoffs.
So we went 6-10. How many teams go 6-10? And then the next year they're in the NFC Championship. Why can't the Giants do it? You gotta believe. Have faith.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm not saying progress.
I'm excited for the season. I'm not trying to be a downer, but it is. That's what the season's about. It's about Daniel Jones. And even Joe Judge and Dave Gettleman have made that point by getting all these people around him, right? These John Rosses, these Kyle Rudolphs, these Kadarius Tonys, these Kenny Galladays. They said, the ball is in your court, Daniel. We believe in you. Now go do it. And that's what I'm saying.
As a fan base, we should believe in him.
Yeah.
Because look what Judge and Gettleman have done. By the way, here's a little Gettleman rant real quick. Because for all you fans that wanted Gettleman gone, wanted him fired, be careful what you wish for. Because of Gettleman, we're sitting where we're sitting right now as a team with a very bright future. Thank you very much.
All right, Joel, I think we're going to get to the point in this where I usually do it at the end. It's just kind of the rapid fire question session. All right. So I'm going to fire off a question. Whatever the first thing is that comes to your mind as far as the answer goes, you're going to respond with the answer, right? And then I'll immediately
think for a minute.
I'll immediately move into the next question. And if you want to expand on any of your answers after giving them in the initial Q&A, we can go back and talk about it when we're done. But it's just for this portion, there's no real explanation for anything. It's just question, answer until we're done. All right?
Okay.
Let me know when you're ready, and we'll go ahead and start.
Fire away, Sally.
All right. Favorite cake, what is it?
Favorite cake? Carrot.
Carrot cake? All right. How about a movie? Do you got a favorite movie?
Favorite movie? Apocalypse Now or The Deer Hunter?
Celebrity crush?
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Okay. Favorite board or card game to play?
Risk.
All right. What about your biggest fear?
Heights.
Favorite subject in school?
Oh, I was a hands-on guy, so I'll say shop. I like working with wood and the layouts and the math and everything.
Okay. What about besides your wallet and your phone, what's a must-have item on your person at all times?
Well, can I say fishing pole?
Do you carry it everywhere?
I have one in the car usually, 9 times out of 10.
All right. How about a favorite musical artist?
Iron Maiden.
Iron Maiden. All right. Let's see here. Favorite beverage. If you drink alcohol, you can give me that one. If you don't, non-alcoholic. If you drink both, you can give me both. Up to you. Just favorite beverage.
Diet Coke. I don't really drink alcohol. If I do, it might be a glass of Grand Marnier once in a while.
All right, Joel. At this point in your life, if you and your wife could load up anywhere and go anywhere in the world, where would your dream vacation be to go to and spend 2 weeks?
Spend 2 weeks on my dream vacation. I'd say Alaska.
Okay. Now name a job you'd be really bad at.
An accountant.
Okay. What about you got any hidden talents?
I can juggle 3 balls. I can't do 4, but I can do 3.
All right, man. That's all the questions I got. Is there any you want to go back and talk a little bit more about? Explain your answers, anything like that?
No, not really. I mean,
all right.
They're all basically self-explanatory.
All right, Joel. Well, look, I think we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. I appreciate you coming on here.
I
I'm
thank you for
excited
having
for
me.
you. I'm excited for your channel. I can't wait to see the content that happens there. I can't wait to see the channel grow. You know, me still being a small streamer, right? I know exactly or not streamer, YouTuber, podcaster, whatever you want to call me. I do have streams on YouTube occasionally, but being relatively small still, I get where you're at. I was there 3 months ago when I just started my channel, right? So it's not like I've been around
Well,
forever, but. Yeah, man, I'll go ahead and open the floor, let you say whatever you want to say to any people who are still in here listening, thinking about going over to your channel, what they can find, things they can look forward to, and just recap anything else that you want as the floor is yours.
listen, variety is the spice of life, and that's what I'm going to shoot for is just variety. Max, watching your channel grow and everything and seeing how much fun that you've had doing it, that kind of really pushed me forward. Um, we have such a great Giants community. Um, I am so proud that I can be a member of this Giants community. The
Absolutely.
chat rooms are great. The content creators go out of their way sometimes to put out videos or go live. It really is a lot of work,
Oh,
and
yeah.
you guys,
No
you
doubt.
guys don't you don't get enough kudos, man. And I don't think you can ever get enough kudos for everything that you guys do. You're putting your, I'm going to be putting myself out there now.
Now.
So, well, I have been, but I've just always been of the firm belief if you're going to say it, say it. Stick to your guns. If you're right, blind squirrel finds a nut once in a while. If you're wrong, admit it. I mean, I would rather admit I'm wrong than to have something bad happen to prove that I'm right.
Right.
I look at that. I try to live by that type of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm more of a clown than anything. I like to tell a joke. I don't mind a drink once in a while. You know, if I can make somebody laugh because it's something stupid or corny, hell with it. I'll try it.
Right.
And that's basically what you're going to see on my videos. Like I said, it might be me just standing out in the yard talking about Giants football, throwing a cornhole bag around. I could be working on some fishing poles or line or leader or something and talking about football, or I could be talking about fun, or I could be talking about family. I just wanted such a wide variety, a bigger avenue towards my channel.
Right.
That's basically it, and that's what it's going to be about.
Well, Joel, the next time people see you,
Oh, things
it's going
will
to
be
be a little
different.
different.
Yes. Yep. I'm going to let
So for
everybody
anybody,
guess.
you're going to let everybody guess.
I'm going to let everybody guess what's going to be different.
So if you guys want to know what's going to be different, go check out this man's channel. He says he's going to have an episode up either sometime this weekend, early next week. Joel, I really look forward to it. I had a great time talking with you on camera this time. We talk so much off. We talk in hub stream. We just debate, have a good time. I hope that everybody who spent some time here this episode has enjoyed themselves. In the link in the description will be his channel, along with my new merch line. I know I talked about the last episode that I put out. There was some revamping going on. All that's been taken care of. Images have come out crisp. We're happy with the way the merchandise looks. So if you want to go check that out, maybe order something. We got mugs, t-shirts, tank tops because it's getting to summer, sweatshirts for those cold summer nights next to the bonfire. We got some bags, a canvas, hats, lots of stuff. Just go check it out. If you decide you like something, throw it in the cart and grab it on the way out. But look, guys, I appreciate you joining me. Thanks for the support. I'm officially at 125 subscribers. Another big milestone. But until next time, everybody, peace.
People.